All right, here we go. Let's do a message for Capricorn or Capricorn cross watcher. What do we have for Capricorn or cross watcher? Of course, this message is not going to be for everybody. It's just whatever's coming through in the cards. So take what resonates. Let's see what we get. Capricorn. Okay. What is it? Two of Swords. Something about I don't need that. I don't really need that right now. Maybe it's energy, some sort of energy, or just something that doesn't serve your highest good. You may kind of be like, I'm not really going to think about that right now. Deal with that right now. Deal with them right now. Think about them right now. Whatever it is. Okay, I don't know if that's the actual message, but that's something that's coming through. Here we go. Starting us off, we have the Queen of Wands. Followed by Temperance. Boy, the gnats are just... I set a trap for the gnats. And I think it's brought them out. It happens every year. It happens all the time. Like once a year at least, for a long experience, extended period of time. I can't speak, lately, and the memory is running low in here. There's a lot going on. Anyways, Queen of Wands, Temperance. Hold on to what I just said, though, because everything I say potentially has something to do with this message or fits in somewhere. Maybe not for everybody, but certain people will understand where that fits and how that makes sense. Something to do with I set a trap. Okay, anyway, I don't know. So, Knight of Pentacles. Seven of Swords. The Sun. And the Knight of Cups. Okay. That Seven of Cups keeps coming out all day. So, the Queen of Wands. That's a nice energy. That's somebody who's pretty influential. Someone who has a pretty... big presence. They can have they can be outspoken, energetic, lively, adventurous, fun, creative, witchy. Queen of Wands can be someone who's witchy. Can work with energy well. Queen of Wands. Look at her little black cat she got right there. Witchy woman. Witchy man. Whoever this is. It's a woman in the card, but this could be for a male. I like the Queen of Wands. She's got a larger than life personality. Not everybody can handle the Queen of Wands, though. Really. Not everybody can handle that energy. Because it's confident, the Queen of Wands energy as a person, whether it's a male or female, it can be very confident. And sometimes people can take confidence as cockiness, or it can make their insecurities come out. So if you're dealing with people or you're around people who tend to be insecure, not that the Queen of Wands doesn't have insecurities, but in this energy isn't feeling insecure. It's feeling more confident and optimistic, things like that. But it can make other people around them not so secure with themselves feel some type of way. So the Queen of Wands, to me, tends to have some haters, maybe low-key haters, people you got to watch out for because they try to set traps for you. They try to catch you in things because you're just different. You know what I mean? The Queen of Wands can also be someone who's hot-tempered, who can snap. They can snap, crackle, pop, like Rice Krispie treats. They might even like sweets. I don't know, something to do with that. They can be sweet, but... they can also be spicy, sweet and spicy. And I think they're funny. They're usually rather funny. So I don't know if this is talking about you or this is someone else, but either way, take it as it resonates for you. I like the Queen of Wands. It is a helpful person, people that a person that would show up for other people, but it might be in a different way than, you know, other people might show up for someone. The way the Queen of Wands might show up for someone is, tell me about it, bitch. How was your day? Go ahead and tell me about it. Really? Is that what happened? You know, it's like almost like that shoulder to lean on, but instead of emotionally supporting, it's like, you want me to go kick her ass? Or you want me you want me to cast a little spell on? You know, you want me to do something like that? That's kind of how it's very independent as well. The Queen of Wands doesn't really, you don't see the Queen of Wands usually flocking around a lot of people. Might have a few close friends, but doesn't necessarily need them. Believe it or not, the Queen of Wands may have a close friend to like an animal totem, like a cat or a dog or magical spell book. I mean, you never know, you know, Book of Shadows. So Temperance is here. Temperance. Let's see if something else stands out in this card to me. Heart of a Lion. Emphasis on sunflowers. So Temperance is clarifying the Queen of Wands. Okay, why? The Sun. Oh, you got strong Leo energy here. You got the Sun twice. I don't know. It's like somebody's feeling a little bit better. They're feeling calmer. I don't know. Here goes the gnats. I don't know if you or whoever I'm talking to here was initially calm, or feeling tranquil or peaceful. Maybe there wasn't that energy, but now in the energy, the Queen of Wands is feeling better, more positive. You know, maybe it's just today or yesterday, started yesterday. You know, I started feeling a little better. So I'm starting to feel a little better. I'm getting there. I'm feeling a little better. Maybe, you know, emotionally, mentally, physically, the whole 9 yards. But the Seven of Swords is the basis for the whole message. So why? Why? 10 of Wands. Why would the Queen of Wands do this? I'll tell you, it's not bad. Why would the Queen of Wands energy do this? For why? 8 of Cups to so basically there's a person here, whether it's you or another, that is like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with a certain situation. I don't want to have any part of it at all. And so therefore I'm being smart about how I navigate a situation right now. The Queen of Wands is very clever. You know, you can't sleep on the Queen of Wands. They're very clever. And they have a lot of magic within, if you will. Something like that. And can be quite resourceful. Can be quite resourceful when they need to be. And I think that's what's happening here. The Queen of Wands is doing something resourceful. Implementing some type of strategy. Maybe even, you know, gathering what they need to gather that they might need later on. They don't necessarily need it right now, but they might need it later on. I like it. Someone else is a bit concerned. Like, what's going on with this Queen of Wands? I haven't heard from them in a while. Maybe something like that. My hair is on my fingers. I haven't heard from them in a while. This card can kind of take a while. It's like, or things seem to kind of be changing or something like that. What's really going on? Someone else here is in, like, kind of trapped in fear. Afraid some shit's gonna blow. Afraid of what might happen next. There is fear here, and somebody's got something on their mind when they're thinking about this Queen of Wands. Like, I don't know. But the Queen of Wands is like, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good. You know, Temperance in the Sun. Trying to be more positive. Or maybe not say they're fine. But they might be like, oh, I'll get there. I'm doing better. Blah, blah, blah. Just showing this. Showing that. But back here being this. In the shadows. This is what they're showing. This is what's going on. You know? It's kind of like that game I used to play as a kid. Well, let's use this. Piece of paper and honey bottle. As a child, I would take a napkin, and it's better if you take a napkin, like a really big napkin, a paper napkin, and you use like a salt or pepper shaker. You stick it under here, and you mold, preferably where it hides the whole last thing, but just work with me here. And you hide, see, I told you can be resourceful and kind of, you know, innovative, clever, can be clever. So this looks really bad, doesn't it? And you stick it in there and you mold it as best as you can. The napkin, preferably around the salt and pepper shaker. Just the salt or pepper shaker, not both. And here it's honey and fucking paper. And then you tell people to stare at it, right? And you start sliding it. Like, pretend this hand is the table. You slide it like this and you drop it where nobody can see. And so it looks like you still have it in there, you see? But I don't. It's like a little ghost. Ooh. Oh. And then you put it down on the table and you go. So it looks like it went through the table. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like a magic trick. So that's what's happening here. The Queen of Wands is creating some type of a magic trick. It's not really a magic trick. It's just kind of, I'm doing what I gotta do to be clever in this situation because I have to be. So I'm using wit, charm, being funny, maybe just, they're not lying. This Queen of Wands is not lying. But is also not, just like the paper and the honey thing, not divulging everything, because they don't have to. As in, this could be you. Or another, either way. And that's got somebody in their head kind of like, well, Are you sure? It's like obsessing about it. Like someone's kind of really obsessing about it. And like what's really going on with this Queen of Wands? Something in their head is telling them, you know, I don't know. Are they sure? Sure? You sure? Okay, let's get a different layout. Same message, different layout. Let's see. Like, yeah, no, good. Okay. You sure? Yeah. You know? Or maybe it's not where we ask the person, are they sure, or something like that. It's where we start laughing and we're cutting up, or we're just coming back to ourselves, feeling a little bit more like us. And so somebody on the outside can't really tell. It can be a little confusing because it's like, well, I know you're showing me that you're fine, or it's not this, but something tells me in my mind that's something ain't right here. And it's like, no, it is. Of course it is. It's like that. You know. The Lovers. Temperance. Okay, here's what's happening. So the Queen of Wands is basically using their mind and is shifting into the King of Swords energy. By that I mean, I'm going to have to be smart when dealing with you. That's right, buddy. That's what you're saying, Crosswatcher or Capricorn. I'm going to have to be smart. From here on out, that's what I'm going to have to do. And really disciplined on my own energy. Controlling my own energy. It's like any of those shows or movies you see where a witch starts coming into their abilities and realizing that they have these abilities. Now, I think the Queen of Wands here already knows they have some type of ability. It's probably, I don't know what it is. I mean, there might be something here to do with, you know, gifts or magic even. I don't know. That's not for everybody. Not everybody believes in that. But if you do, well, there you go. So the Queen of Wands in this situation, it's a queen, it's not a page. So they're aware of their abilities. And basically they're controlling them right now. So, you know, when you see those shows or the movies where people are coming into their gifts and realizing, oh, hey, you know, this could get out of hand. Like Elsa in Frozen. This could get out of hand if I don't control myself. I could freeze the whole town. Or like in American Horror Story Coven. Or in the Vampire Diaries, when the witch starts realizing she's a witch, but she's slowly catching shit on fire and lighting candles just by looking at them and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so it's like, oh, damn, I got to control myself so that it doesn't get out of hand. I don't get out of hand. I have to be my own authority. I have to kind of... I've got to have good self-discipline, basically. I'm not going to let myself unravel. So, yeah, I'm good. You know, happy, going back to, like, kind of going back to ourselves, being ourselves, but inwardly, deep behind the shadows and the curtain, it's like, not hiding, just not showing. Seven of Swords. There you go. See, this person's going underneath the bridge and taking those plans with them. And it's like, yeah, I got all these plans and these blueprints and wearing a hard hat, protecting myself. They don't need to know none of this. Whew. Okay, so you got the other person here. There's another person who is feeling like, I really want to talk to Capricorn or a Crosswatcher. I really want to talk to Capricorn just because, it'll make me feel better if we talk and we communicate, and I want to talk to them sooner than later. Just see, go off. Here we go. I'm about to say it. I've been saying it in messages, vibes. I'm going to go off the vibes and see what's going on with Capricorn, because like when I talk to them, it'll get better, or I'll know or something, because right now maybe Capricorn, have you lost interest in a person? Let's just say it. I've already got this far in this video. Have you lost interest in a person, or have you gotten to a point where you don't really want none of that? Is that what it is? You don't want none of that? See that arm sticking out of that tent? Like, come over here and get some of this. And you're like, no, I don't want none of that. No, that's fine. But instead of saying you don't want none of that, you're just kind of like, well, I've already had 3 already. Or you're just, it's not excuses. It's because you did. You know, it's not lies. This Queen of Wands energy shaping and morphing and shape-shifting into this King of Swords energy is not lying. That's not why the 7 of Swords keeps coming out, not here. It's... a witch doesn't give all her secrets. Witch. Something to do with... something to do with... treats, sweets and treats. I heard that. But no. Subs. Like subs. Like witch. Or Subway. Or Subway. Eat fresh. Yeah, that looks like a Subway too. But, or like sandwiches. I don't know why I'm getting that. Take it if it resonates. If it doesn't, just ignore. I just said that. Whew. It's like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm fine over, you know. But ultimately, the outcome is, I don't want none of that. 5 of Pentacles and Strength. I don't want none of that no more. I don't want none of that no more. Why is Temperance here? Page of Cups. So somebody's trying. They are. They're trying and they're making an effort and they really want to, you know, be generous and sweet and however to this Queen of Wands, but the Queen of Wands is like, And the reason is, though, there's something in this person's mind about this Queen of Wands. I'm going to get another layout again. Nobody just gets in the 8 of Swords energy. Sometimes you get in the 8 of Swords energy because you know you done wrong or because you know that, you know, I'm almost getting that somebody is in the 8 of Swords energy here and so concerned about, you know, the connection with them and this Queen of Wands and like what's really going on because they know. Is it like a guilty conscience? They know that maybe, you know. And the Queen of Wands knows as well. They know. Why else would they? The only reason that fear would show up here is because somebody knows they maybe haven't been right. They haven't been right to this Queen of Wands. Judgment. Nope. And that's exactly what's causing this Queen of Wands energy, you, to be like, bye-bye. But on the outside, we're not trying to be like negative about it. We're trying to be more positive and calm and tranquil and keep the peace, you know. But what just happened is the recent energy that somebody just started feeling, this Queen of Wands was feeling about another person is, I don't want none of that no more. Speed it up. I don't want none of that no more. More. Faster. I don't want none of that no more. I don't want none of that no more. Okay. Bottom of the deck, High Priestess. Because I know. Because the Queen of Wands is intuitive. Is gifted. And this might be part of the gifts. Divination. I love doing this. Spirit fingers. Spirit. I'm spirit. Got the spirit. You got spirit. We got spirit. Yes, we do. We got spirit. How about you? Okay. So Judgment is here. Here's what I have to do for the time being in order to navigate through a situation. Meanwhile, I don't want none of that no more. But I want to keep the peace because when I don't, shit can tend to get out of hand and I'm not really trying to accidentally blow something up. You know? Because, well, it's in me. Sometimes I can take on Elsa energy. Sometimes I can take on American Horror Story Coven energy. Sometimes I can take on Tituba energy. You just never know with me. And so, and I never know because fire can be unpredictable. And Queen of Wands energy is fire. So again, you know, we're talking Capricorn here. And if this is your message, you could just be taking on that fire energy right now. Or maybe you've got strong fire somewhere in your chart. Or this message is entirely reversed. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. Someone's got a lot of self-control here. Judgment again. Yep. Trying to make the right decisions here. Trying to do the right thing. And it ain't always easy, but what helps is maybe taking breaks from someone, not having to be around them all the time. I hope this is resonating. Is this making any sense? That's what I'm getting for this one. I'm going to stop it here. I think it's a very specific message. I'm going to stop it here. And then if we need another one, we'll get another one. How about that? If we do, like if it comes to me, we'll get another one. That's what I'm getting now. The Queen of Wands is basically conducting themselves in a certain way that keeps the peace. Meanwhile, another person, whoever that other person is to this Queen of Wands, is doing the same thing really, but inwardly is kind of like they're kind of stuck in analysis paralysis because they have a guilty conscience of some kind. Maybe it has to do with work or other people. They have a guilty conscience of some kind. And yes, look, there it is. Maybe it's about their own behavior. I don't know. All right. Thank you guys for being here. I think I already said that. I'll talk to you later. Bye.